Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 5. Today we will present about teaching writing to young learners. The members are me, Adela Prelia, Ernest Sofianeri, and Rahmita Ajijah. Table of contents about teaching writing to young learners are: the first one is what is writing, the second is background to the teaching of writing, the third is the development of writing skills, fourth is classroom technique and activities, the fifth is writing in the classroom, and the last one is conclusion. So the first one is what is writing. What do you think of when the word writing is mentioned? You could think of writing as the act of picking up a pencil and forming letters either by printing or writing them in cursive. You could also think about the act of composing a piece of text, or you could also think of writing as an act completed by someone else, as in the writings of William Shakespeare. According to Sokolic 2003, writing is a combination of process and product. The process refers to the act of gathering ideas and working with them until they are presented in a manner that is polished and comprehensible to reader. The next is background to the teaching of writing. When you are teaching writing to children who are 4 to 7 years old, you must consider two separate areas of development. First, do your students have the fine motor or physical skills necessary to hold a pencil firmly in their hands and form letters on paper? Second, do they have the cognitive skills necessary to formulate ideas and write them onto paper? The physical act of forming letters as well as the act of expressing oneself in written form are both challenging for young learners. Depending upon their development, learners may find it very frustrating to try to physically form letters, and they may not be able to put their thoughts together in coherent whole. Therefore, as their teacher, you face the considerable task of teaching them how to actually print letters, write words, and capture their ideas to put on paper. Native English-speaking children are usually taught how to print before being taught to write cursive letters. Students are taught printed letters first because they resemble letters found in books, and according to many teachers, forming printed letters is easier than forming cursive ones because they have more straight lines and complete circles. Young learners are often taught how to form letters by tracing lines, circles, semicircles, and triangles, because this preparation helps them master the formation of the shapes that are used for letters. Children learning ESL or EFL can face additional obstacles when learning to form English language letters. For example, they may have been introduced to cursive writing in their native language before printed writing, or their native language may be written with characters rather than letters. Also, they may be unfamiliar with words, sentences, and paragraphs that are written from left to right. For young learners who are just beginning to learn how to write in English, or who write letters and or characters in a different directions, teachers often put an arrow running from left to right at the top of the page to show them where to start writing. The next is the development of writing skills. Process writings help native English-speaking children as well as EFL or ESL young learners develop English language writing skills. The process writing approach involves the process step necessary to produce a good quality final piece of writing. As a teacher of writing, you need to balance the role of the process and importance of the product. The next is types of written text that children can produce. One type of writing that is common in EFL classroom is pen-pal or pen-friend letters. Pen-pal letters allow children to develop writing skill within the context of an authentic and purposeful writing activity. Other types of correspondence can also help children use writing in a meaningful ways. Children can create their own version of virtually anything that has print. In addition to pieces of correspondence, there are over 100 different pieces of text children can write. This range from a one-word label on a poster to a novella or mini-novel. There is a list that can give you an idea of the types of writing that children can produce. To make it very interesting and intriguing for young learners, you can also have them design different things with their writing. For instance, they can create their own mini billboards announcing an upcoming field trip or student production of a play. So there are several types of writing young learners can produce. First one is address books, advertisement, magazine, newspaper, big books. And the second is book reviews, cartoon reviews, direction or instruction, letters, and poems. And the third is thank you cards, postcards, posters, and etc. Okay, that's all from me. The next material will be presented by my friend.
Okay, my name is Arna Sofianeri. Now I'm going to continue the next material, which is about writing process. There are 5 steps of writing. The first one is pre-writing, and then the second one is writing, the third one is revising, editing, and the last one is publishing. Okay, for the first step is pre-writing. For every piece of writing, there is always a pre-write activity. In the classroom, pre-writing can be as simple as a drawing activity, or it can be woven into a discussion between the teacher and the learners. In teaching writing for young learners, the teacher can do some activities about what the children have been doing. For example, is about writing newspapers articles. First, in doing pre-write, the teacher reviews what the children have been doing related to the writing newspaper articles. Then, the teacher asks a number of questions to focus on what they have been done. And then for the next one, the teacher asks the student to think about current event, and the teacher writes down the children's ideas on the board. As a second pre-writing activity, the teacher can ask the children to draw a picture for different newspaper stories. Through the pre-writing activity, children have been primed, so they immediately got to the work. Alright, for the second step is writing. After the students have done the pre-writing, the next step is to get thoughts and ideas down on paper. For example, if a child is going to be writing a manual on how to use her favorite toy, she could write down the steps she does when she plays with it. At this point, it doesn't matter if she leaves out a step or repeats herself. The point is to get the thoughts down on the paper. In this step, young learners should know what they need to write in the writing process. The student need to know that they can write down any ideas, but it should be related to the topic. The idea also can be rearranged, edited to, and edited later on. Some young learners may get silly and write things that they think are funny but completely unrelated to the writing topic. Here, the teacher should remind the learners what they write must be related to the chosen topic. The teacher also can suggest the student to write about the topic which are interest themselves. Okay, for the third step is revising. Revising occurs when a writer looks for feedback from a teacher or another student. In here, children in fact have a tendency to think that once words are down on paper, they finish the writing. The young learners also see that the teacher roles as being a copy editor and fixing all spelling and grammar errors. So the learners are not being independent in correcting their own work. For this case, The teachers will be a consultant for the learners. The teacher help the learners how to make the writing interesting and comprehensible for the readers rather than give the students feedback about their work directly. Besides advice on their own, the learners can ask their classmates, caregiver, or classroom to help revise their writing. However, at this stage, most teachers do review on students' work. Teachers will give comments about the ideas, not the grammatical or spelling errors, so the children will know what ideas or organization they should keep and as well as what they should change. It is also important to praise as well as give suggestion for improvement of the learners. For the next step is editing. Children have a hard time accepting that editing is necessary. Correcting children's errors and helping children find and correct their own errors present a real dilemma for teachers. Why? Okay, in here, on one hand, teacher doesn't want to dampen student enthusiasm for writing. On the other hand, they need to know how to write using standards conventions of spelling, grammar, and punctuation. For this case, the teacher can let the student to use a red pen so they can correct their own mistakes. Alright, for the last step is publishing. After a piece of writing has been edited, it is ready to be published. Publishing refers to putting the writing in a final finished format where it can be shared with others. One of the advantages of the publishing is it can give the students motivation in writing. Well, that's all from me. For the next topic will be presented by Rahmita. Thank you.
Next, 5 classroom technique and activities. First is writing models. By reading and exposing children to a variety of good fiction and non-fiction, you are helping them become better writers. As teacher, you have to provide them reading material that will model the type of writing your young learner will produce. And next is group writing. Children can work collaboratively on a writing project, and they can also work in a small group to create different pieces of written text. And next is talking and writing books. The creation of the books is a pre-reading activity in and of itself. You can give students a prompt or suggestion about what to write. Children might want to keep their writing about their talking or writing books in a small notebook stored within the book itself. And next is writing centers. A writing center can be set up in most classrooms. A writing center with brightly colored pens and papers will often inspire children to write. A writing center can be used by children at any stage of a writing process. And then the next is writing conferences. Writing conferences is a very useful way to help children with revising. There can be one conference per piece of writing, or it can be a series of conferences for a specific piece of writing. This can be held between teacher and learner or between learner themselves. And then inventive spelling. Inventive spelling refers to students' attempt at spelling words based on their developing cognitive and literacy skills. Inventive spelling can reveal valuable information about the child's English language literacy development. And the last is word walls. Word walls are lists of words that our children have encountered in their reading and that can be used in their writing. This list should be posted on the walls of your classroom. The word can be arranged alphabetically, other words can be arranged topically. And then next, 6 writing in the classroom. More and more young learner coursebooks are including a writing component. The children often have English language writing activities related to the content that the learner might be studying in English or in their native language. I will answer a question from group 2. How can process of writing approach help young learner in writing skill? So first of all, by use the process of writing, the student will less likely to suffer from the writer's block. And students who use this process more likely to meet their deadlines because they are organized steps that they can follow. They are also unlikely to get stressed out in the process because they know that they have a series of separate steps, so students can follow that and break the intimidating task of writing down into manageable parts. They will feel much less anxiety and struggle in writing. And then it also can increase quality because by focusing on each step individually, students can do it better, increasing the ultimate quality of their final product. And then question from group 1, which method is suitable to be applied in teaching writing to a young learner? So the first method is the cluster mapping. Cluster mapping is also called idea weaving. It's a great way to show relationship between ideas. Cluster mapping is also part idea generation and part organization, so students will know exactly how to group their ideas once they are ready to write. To begin, write the topic in the center of the page and put a circle around it. Then you can move in one of two directions. With younger children, have them think of questions about the topic. For example, if the topic is spider, they might ask, what do spider eat? Where does spider live? Or what does spider look like? Equation should be written in a bubble connected to the central topic. Tell students to spread this bubble out over the page as they will ending to each. Then have students answer the question connecting with smaller bubble to the bubbles containing the question. And next, my friend would like to add some other method.
Which method is suitable to be applied in teaching writing to young learners? In teaching writing for young learners, I think it is effective to use game as the method of teaching because games can create fun for the young learners and can engage the student easily in the learning activities. Games also can increase student motivation in writing because they are learning while playing. For example, is Guess Who It's Cards game. This is a popular activity that can be done with the slightly older children who are between 5 till 8 years. It involves guessing the personality on a set of placards. Besides games, group writing also suitable for young learners since the student can discuss their writing with their groupmate. So the student also have many ideas to write on the paper. The student also can help each other to develop their writing together.
So the last question is from group 6. The question is, what should be taught first to young learners? Do we introduce the letters first or teach how to write them first, and why? So our answer is the first thing taught to young learners is to teach how to write, because according to Suyanto K 2007, they are children of primary school age who receive English lessons as local content in their schools. From the explanation above, we can have an idea that the definition of young learners is those between the age of 6 until 12 years old. So at this age, the teacher will teach students how to print letters, write words, and capture their ideas. Meanwhile, introducing letters has been taught at an early age of 1 until 5 years old. Okay, that's all from our group. Thank you for watching.